Hello, my angels and devils, and all who may wonder here. I'm Amanda Christina. This is Heavenly Imaginings, and yes, this is my face in hospital in an ID. I thought I would do some face to face videos because I haven't for a while, and I haven't really done a proper update. So, because Alicia Wagman 510 did this incredible shout, I'm going to link it below. It makes me tear up. I watch it anytime I am feeling down now because it reminds me that I'm not alone and that people are watching what I do and feeling inspired by that. And that just blows my mind because my need to craft is so ingrained. People who know me and who've been around a while know that I'm not doing well when I'm not crafting, and I end up with 7 weeks of not crafting in here, and it was brutal. So I thought I would start at the beginning. How did I end up in hospital? Well, I have been arguing with my doctor for 3 years about how not normal it was to be dizzy all the time, to be constantly beyond levels of exhaustion that I normally felt, like barely able to move, that things like showering, cooking, basic things that I usually do okay at were just becoming such a struggle. Crafting, my productivity with crafting had dropped dramatically. And I was struggling, like I was struggling to leave the house, just to anything. So I went to leave the house for the first time in 2 months to post some stuff, to meet up with a new friend for lunch, and I went to get into a taxi, and I couldn't feel my foot. I couldn't feel my foot or the ground, and I went to tread, and I crumpled. That's the only word for it. I just crumpled, and I screamed the neighborhood down. Like it's the most pain I think I've ever felt in my life, and sort of just had to move myself from where the taxi was just to laying on the road. Literally just moved and gently flopped onto the road. Um, if you're squeamish, I'm squeamish. I haven't seen the x-rays. I didn't see this. Basically, what happened was I dislocated my ankle. I broke my ankle and I broke the bone, broke through the skin. So it was really bad enough that in Australia you get a thing called the green whistle, which really usually knocks me out. I had a broken leg about 5 years ago, and that green whistle made me loopy. The pain was so bad that the green whistle just barely took the edge off. And they had to give me 2 or 3 of them to even get it that far. To get me in the ambulance, they had to give me something that made me trip. I was seeing all these little cubes bouncing. It was very interesting. I'm not. I know that I would never be a good druggie because I always cry when I come down off these things. When I was in hospital with a broken leg, you just had to look at me and I would just burst into tears. I was driving everyone, including myself, nuts. So I would have been that person on drugs that just would have been pissing everyone off. So yeah, so that's how I ended up in hospital. I started off at Wollongong, where they had to relocate my ankle, so they had to do that thing where when you've got a dislocated shoulder, they pull it. Yep. So there was a group of people standing around my ankle. Yep. Not fun, but it happened, and I was like, he's like, this is gonna hurt, and I'm like, yeah, but it's better that it gets fixed than it doesn't. So we did that. Got through it. I'm not sure why I have flickering light, whether it's to do with. I wonder if I turn this light off if it'll stop the flickering. Yes, okay. But I was trying to. No, okay. So I can't have that light on and have my camera not flicker. I don't know if it'll come through flickering, but we'll see when I upload these. So that is how I ended up in hospital. I ended up having surgery the next day. They were going to try and give me it's the back injection, and I can't think what it's called right now, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't get me in a position where they could do it, so they ended up putting me under anesthetic, which they were very worried about because of my size and because of other things. It could be quite dangerous, but it's okay. I came through. Um, and they had to clean the bone. I had stitches all on both sides of my ankle, but I had it was like over 40 or 50 stitches between both sides of my ankle. I have a thin scar now down one side of my leg. Yeah, so that's how I ended up in here. The offshoot of that was I spent 2 weeks in Wollongong, and then I was moved here. Now I had about 2 months of full bed rest, which means that you are not allowed out of bed you are not. I couldn't get out of bed to poop. I wasn't allowed to walk, so I couldn't do a lot of the things because the equipment here wasn't the right equipment to move me out of bed a lot of the time. So basically, I spent a couple of months in bed, and it got to the 7 week mark, and I had been begging for craft supplies, but unfortunately, my sister doesn't drive, and there were other circumstances where it just meant that she couldn't bring things to me, and she pulled out Copics, and I I nearly lost it. I was so close. I had to stop myself from having. I had to like, okay, calm down. As soon as she walked out the door, I had a meltdown. Like I literally just lost it. I was bawling my eyes out, and I was like, I can't not craft. I can't. This is not. It's not good for my mental health. It's not good for me right now to be in a position where I'm stuck in bed, but I can't do anything. So I thought about it, and I had a little bit of money in the bank, and I went, okay, the options are pay bills, which can wait. It wasn't anything urgent, or buy some sort of toolkit. And I looked, and Craft Draft had the We Are Memory Keepers. It's like called the Ultimate Toolkit. It's not the new thing with the board and like it's got all the bits. It's literally a trim and scoreboard. It's like the big bone folder, a regular bone folder, a large pair of scissors, a pair of Teflon scissors, a pokey tool with like the picky up gem tool at the other end, and a craft knife, and a thing of like a tape roll. So that was, and it was $120, and it had free postage, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And a friend, I was, I'm a moderator for a few Twitch channels, but one of the main ones, and I just posted in there how I'd been feeling, and one of the other mods put the money in my PayPal to cover that, so that I then used that money to get some craft supplies, and I've had a few deliveries and stuff. Like I don't have a full stash here, but I have a good enough stash to be able to make pretty much whatever I want. There are some limitations, of course. I don't have all my bits and bobs, and there are times where I'm just like, oh, I really wish I had this thing. But I've been able to get enough orders in half price sales, and Anna's just had 25% off, so I just got a journal guide, and Craft Draft had the banner punch board, and then I got the pinwheel punch board. Like the banner punch board was $20, the pinwheel punch board was $15. So I've been grabbing things when I can, but I have to be careful not to, because I got in trouble for having a bit too much stuff. So I'm trying to not order more stuff, but I'm trying to use what I have as well. And when I see a range that reminds me of a staff member or someone who I want to make something for here, then I will grab that. But I'm just trying to use up what I have and make some nice things for staff or for people. And then I've sort of got a nice collection. There are a few people I want to make things for, but I also don't like to force myself to craft. So that is how I got the crafty stuff, is that orders and things. And lucky for me, Spotlight had a lot of EK Success punches on $20 and under, which for us is really good over here. So it's 14 weeks later. I can now walk with the help of a forearm support frame. So this being FORE, not FOUR, which is whenever they say forearm support frame, I was like, I don't have forearms. Like, what? It took me a while to figure that one out. So the journey was that I started practicing standing with this very medieval looking torture device, which was just a thing. It was just a standing frame, but it really looked like a medieval torture device. And they'd put it against the wall, and they'd move my bed, and I would sit up, and then I would stand up, and I would sit, and I would stand up for as long as I could handle, and then I would sit down, and then repeat the process. Then when we got the go ahead that I could weight bear, I started doing laps of my room. So I was in a different room. I was upstairs. I wasn't in rehab. I was in a medical ward, and I would do laps, little laps. They weren't huge laps, just little laps in my room. So now I'm down in rehab. I can't take advantage of the gym because I can't fully weight bear yet. We already had 2 weeks extra where they're like, oh, we really want to wait 2 weeks and see and stuff. So okay, 2 weeks I can handle. So we get the X-ray after we do the X-ray after 2 weeks. It's another 4 weeks. So we're 3 weeks away from, I am 3 weeks away from my next x-ray and hoping against hope that the bone's growing enough that I can actually fully weight bear on that leg so that I can start to rehab to get home. Yeah, so it will have been 17 weeks at that stage. So, yeah, over 4 months. So, over a quarter of the year in hospital is a lot, and it's not the easiest thing to handle. But for the most part, I've done okay. There are things I miss. I miss good food. Like I try and budget to do an order every fortnight or two, like once or twice a fortnight. But I've got to be really careful because I don't have a huge budget. I'm on disability, so I'm just trying to stretch what I have. Um, I either get a grocery delivery every so often, or I will get my sister to pick things up for me, and she'll drop them off once a week so that I have munchies and things just to pad out, because a lot of the meals are like I don't get desserts with my meals and I don't really eat the snacks that they have. So I sort of try and get things that I have and sort of try and be a little bit healthy with them. It's not always easy. And so just muddling through, really, that's all anyone can do. It's not the easiest thing. I can't say it is. Um, so in the meantime, what I am working on is I am doing something called chair yoga, which is stretches and yoga things, but sitting down, so that you can either sit on the edge of your bed and do them or sit in a chair and do them. And that's to help with my flexibility and strength and things like that. And I am working on distance and stamina. So what that means is things like I'm getting back into showering every day, which even at home I wasn't doing. But I also worry because I don't have the hugest collection of clothes. Like I've spent a lot of money just getting a few nighties, a few extra nighties and bits of clothing for in here, because I just didn't have that much hospital. Who has a wardrobe for hospital? Like you don't really. And so distance is another one. So we're working on being able to walk out into the courtyard. There's a courtyard, and at the moment I can get about halfway to where that is. So it's about having enough energy to get out there and back again, like after being able to sit in the courtyard for a bit. So that is something I'm working on with my PT, so that, yeah, hospital does wear you down. Alicia Wagman 510 said a few things. One, I don't do swaps. I haven't been doing swaps for a while because I can't get to the post office to post things easily. What we tend to do with a lot of the Aussie crafters is we will build up a little bag of stuff, like a little parcel of stuff, and we'll send it off as happy mail to each other. So if someone sends like 3 parcels and someone else has only sent 1, we don't stress because we know it'll balance out in the end, which I really like that way of just sending happy mail. Although I would like to do some swaps. It's something that I just wasn't able to handle. I have my moments where I am getting okay sleep, but I'm not. I'm in a bit of an insomniac period at the moment. I am being given melatonin to help with the sleep. Sometimes it helps, but I tend to wake up needing to use the commode a bit of a night time. It doesn't, and I've tried the no drinking, the cutting down the drinking, all the things like that to try and not have it be an issue, but it's still, I mean, and I usually nap in the morning a bit or of an afternoon if I need to. There aren't as many beeps and stuff in the rehab ward, although I am near the stroke unit, so it depends on the patients there. Struggling a lot with mental health and just privacy and stuff in hospital, because upstairs when I was in the medical ward, I had my own bathroom. I was spoiled. I was absolutely spoiled. I had my own bathroom. I had a door that shut, which meant that I could have sort of my own little world a bit, and that makes a huge difference. Here I've got a curtain, and you hear everything through the curtains, so it's not great, but it's not. I mean, it could be worse. I have a room to myself, and I am extremely grateful for that. I can't bitch and moan and say, I get free healthcare. There are a lot of people who don't. So I know how absolutely lucky I am. I get 3 meals a day, even if some of them are absolutely god awful. And so, just it's just muddling through. I thought because some of you hadn't really met me and didn't really know much about why I'm in hospital, I also suffer with several mental health conditions, one of them being bipolar 2, which I have mentioned. I have anxiety, severe social anxiety, compact PTSD, OCD, and severe depression. I'm pretty sure that's it. I know it's a lot, and I also have PCOS. um, I have arthritis in some of my joints. Yeah, so and I tend to get cellulitis quite a bit. So yeah, it's not a picnic being me, but I just try and muddle through. As for crafting, it is literally my lifeline. It is the thing I need to do to keep me sane. Um, Without crafting, I would not be in as good a place in terms of mentally, of being able to cope, of being in here. Like I probably would have attempted escape long before now. Although I've had a few bipolar moments that are like, yeah, you can just go now. There was a point at Wollongong Hospital where I had a bipolar moment where I couldn't have even walked if I wanted to. And I'm like, well, you could crawl out half naked, it won't matter. And of course, my rational mind won that argument, thank goodness. But yes, so there are moments where, of course, this is really difficult and I don't want to be here. But at the same time, it is. I keep telling myself and I keep reminding myself it is better to heal fully and go home fully healed and able to cope than go home too early, have another accident, and start this whole damn process all over again. And that is the sort of little mantra I keep reminding myself, and that it'll pass, and that I'll be stronger for the experience, etc., etc. I mean, yes, it is hard being in hospital for a crazy length of time. I have to buy internet now because there are some things I can't do on hospital Wi-Fi. If I don't comment on videos, it's because I'm watching on hospital Wi-Fi, which won't let me comment on videos. If I'm watching on my Wi-Fi, I have to watch really, really low resolution, but I will comment where I can. Sometimes I'm just not up to commenting. Some days I'm struggling more than others. Some days I'm more wary than others. I'm just doing the best I can. Like any of us, we just muddle through one step at a time and try and do the best that we can. Anyway, I hope this has helped for anyone who doesn't know the story or doesn't know me at all. And if you do, it gives you a bit of an update of where I'm at. So we just have to wait for 3 weeks and we'll see what happens. And I will let you know in 3 weeks, good or bad news, whatever it is, I will let you know. Thank you for watching and let me know how you're doing below. How are you? What's going on in your world? Because I feel like I'm so out of touch with everyone at the moment. I'm in this like little bubble of an environment that, yeah, not a lot gets through at times. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, as always, you are truly incredible. You are absolutely amazing. And most importantly of all, you, yes, you, in there watching me right now, say it with me. You truly do matter. Bye, all.